Let's do it for Miami Dolphins. The pressure, he's in trouble. Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Waddle. It's a Dolphin touchdown. Throwing deep upfield on the near side. That open. Touchdown! He's got a man. Touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. He's got it for the touchdown. Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. Let's go!
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one on this Sunday matinee. Now, I know some of y'all were expecting me to be live yesterday with Ryan Roberts. Well, he was down at the Blue Gold game, Notre Dame game, so he's going to be coming on tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. You're not going to want to miss that one. It's going to be a very good one. Tuesday night, me and Neil live, hand by hand, 3-round mock draft from each of us comparatively. So I've already done my first round. So we'll be doing that on Tuesday on a special episode of Fin Too Deep. Wednesday, as always, the finish line, and with Richmond Webb and Ballgame. Thursday, I'll be live for night 1 of the NFL draft. Then night 2, we will have the panel for the draft when we select at 51 and 84. We'll have a panel. Neil Driscoll will be popping in, Richmond Webb, Ballgame, Martin, Kevin Dern. Could be a good time, so be out on the lookout for that. So a lot of content coming for all of y'all this week. And today marks the final big board for the channel. Now, that said, if you are a channel member or if you are a Patreon, I am going to be delivering still to you my wide receiver big board, my quarterback big board, and on top of that, I will be giving you guys my edge big board. So, still got 3 big boards coming for Patreon members and for channel members only. So, just another perk of them. If you are a Patreon member, expect a episode of 3 Takes sometime tonight. So, a lot going on. A lot. Appreciate each and every one of you coming in and spending some of your Sunday with me. Already over 150 of you in the room. Please do me the favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you are new. On this Sunday, let's go out and shout out Marino's Goat, Barry Bailey, PL, Michael Simmons, Stetson, Aladino, Marino's Goat, Mark Papelka, Dion Cooper, Stevie TV, Scott Stevens, Coke Master, Jason, Jay Shizzy, Russell, type in all caps, David Figley, Samuel Rosa, Jeffrey Ward, Robert Thomason. How are you doing, sir? Juan Cruz Moran, Denisha, Robert Trainer, Chris Solo, Trucker Sean, Jermel Oakley, Chris Gifford, Jeff Premont, Joey LaSalle, Tissa1421. I'm gonna talk. I'll give you an answer to that. Stevie TV, Anthony, Ted, Martina. How you doing? Corey, K Jack, Scotty. So interesting thing here. By the way, before I get to that, this is going to be one of the few videos. These are the videos where I ask if you have it in your capability, please donate to these videos, because these videos do get demonetized regularly due to XOS Digital Sports and me using their All-22 film. So if you are able to donate, these are the shows where I ask you to donate. Listen, I'm not a grifter. I'm not going to be up here asking you every 10 seconds to donate on every show. But on these shows where I know I'm going to get demonetized, I will ask if you can donate. If not, then please do me the favor. It takes less than a second. Smash the like button. If you cannot donate, please smash the like button. At least help me out with the algorithm. Thank you very much. Storm Warrior, Nathaniel Simmons. How are y'all doing? Okay, now to this question. Where art thou? I saw it here somewhere. Oh, yeah. How do you feel about trading Wilkins and re-upping Connor Williams and Zach Seiler is what I was asked in the comments here. Let me bring that up. All right. Re-up Connor and Seiler, cool. Okay, listen. I'm going to say something that is, I know some Dolphin fans aren't going to like. If you could lead me in a trade with Wilkins, if that path led to Jalen Carter, I would do it. 110%. Jalen Carter right now, I don't know, man. Listen, I can't say he's going to be better than Christian Wilkins because he hasn't played a game and Wilkins been in the league for 4 years. But I wouldn't be surprised if Jalen Carter is better than him in year one. You know what I mean? Listen, the only way I'd be moving off Wilkins is if somehow that leads me to Jalen Carter. Sorry. You go watch that film. Dude, that guy might be the best player in the draft. He is in the conversation for the best player in the draft. I have not, and I said this in my evaluation, so you'll hear this later in my evaluation. Buddy, I haven't seen a game wrecker or disruptor since Ndamukong Suh coming out. Like, Jalen Carter is next freaking level, okay? Like, dude, you put his character issues aside, and listen, the rumor, the word is he's not getting out of the top 10 even with those character issues. That's how good he is. That's how good he is. Right? I have him going higher than top 10 in my draft because I'll tell you right now, in my mock draft, spoiler alert, the Seattle Seahawks at 5 are just make way too much sense. Way too much sense for Jalen Carter. That kid is unreal. Unreal. Okay? Unbelievable. So, listen, I'm not here to stir the pot. I'm just here to give you the real. Christian Wilkins never had tape at Clemson even remotely close to Jalen Carter. Okay? Let me put it that way. All right? And I'm a fan of Christian Wilkins, but I'm also a realistic fan, and I'm objective as hell. Christian Wilkins will never get to become the pocket penetrator, and he will never become the pass rusher Jalen Carter is right now. Imagine what Jalen Carter is going to be with the NFL coaching. Oh my God. Juan Cruz Moron says, always appreciate the content. Reason I appreciate you. Thank you, Juan, for the donation. Thank you very much, sir. Scotty says he's confident too because he refused to see teams outside the top 10. Yeah, bro. It's just like Bryce Young. Bryce Young canceled all of his visits because he knows he's a Carolina Panther. He knows he's going number 1 overall. Right? So, listen. Jalen Carter is that dude. Listen, that's the only way I'd trade Christian Wilkins. Only way I'd trade Christian Wilkins if there's a path to Jalen Carter. If there's no path to Jalen Carter, why am I trading? Like, first of all, Christian Wilkins, I saw someone suggested 2 seconds and a third. If the conversation does not start with at least a mid-round first pick, at least a mid-first round pick for Christian Wilkins, I'm not having the conversation. I'm not. So, listen. I think they're going to extend him because we're winning. We want to win now. Do I think Christian Wilkins is a 22? Listen, I cringe at the thought of paying him over $20 million a year. I'm sorry, I do. I'm sorry. The sweet spot for me is like 16, 17 million a year. And the issue is we have Zach Seiler, or Sealer, however you want to pronounce it, who gives you basically almost similar production. And he's going to cost way less. So we'll see. I like Christian Wilkins, but Christian Wilkins has things working against him right now at the negotiating table. Right? He's got things working for him because of the amount of tackles he had as a defensive tackle. I believe he set the record for tackles. But I keep telling all y'all, tackles are such a, Dolphin fans use the same thing. And I'm not, listen, Christian Wilkins is a far better player than Jerome Baker. But they use the same thing to justify that ridiculous contract Jerome Baker got. Tackles, tackles, tackles. I kept telling all y'all, what good is 110 tackles when 70 or 80 of them are 4 or 5 yards down beyond the line of scrimmage? Listen, now Wilkins ain't the same, but tackles only get you so far in terms of mattering in the long run here. What's going to be held against him is Zach Seiler's on the team. And if you go look at their numbers, very similar production again. That's going to be the issue. And the other issue is going to be he hasn't given you a ton from a pass rush standpoint. That's what the issue is going to be. For him, trying to get paid. Whether they're right or wrong, I'm telling you that's what the issue is. Would you trade 24 and 25 first to Detroit for a first and a third? So would I trade my 2024 and 2025 first for Detroit's first and third? No. It's key we have the first round picks over the next couple years because we're going to have to be supplementing picks. Players that are going to be like leaving or on the cusp of leaving. So no, I wouldn't give up 2 future firsts for a first this year and the third. What do they pick? 6th? Right? Detroit picks like 6th, right? Reason, what's your top 3 players at 51 if we don't trade? I can give you the best answer possible before day 2 starts. I'm starting to get the vibe Laporta's there. I'm starting to get that vibe that Laporta might be there. So if Laporta's there, that Laporta all day. I think DeJuan Jones or Matthew Bergeron are going to be there. Listen, I don't know what I got to see the board how it falls. That's such a hard, because there's guys that like Avila could be there and he'd be on the list. Laporta could be there and he'd be on the list. DeJuan Jones or Matthew Bergeron if they'd be on the list. For me, listen, I know everyone loves Jack Campbell and I love Jack Campbell. If Drew Sanders is there, Drew Sanders is on the list for me. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to be there, but you know what I mean? Keanu Benton. I wouldn't be mad if they drafted Keanu Benton. I see a lot of talent in that kid. Mazzie Smith, another one. If he's there at 51, I wouldn't be mad at. I can give you a lot of names. I got to see how it falls. I don't think Darnell Washington is falling. Ben Glassford, Drew Sanders. You know what? I'm going to tell you this why I like Drew Sanders. Drew Sanders, to me, Vic Fangio would effing love. Would freaking love him. Dude, he's the ultimate front 7 chess piece. You can rush him off the edge. Right? You can do so many things with him at the line of scrimmage. You can drop him back into coverage. Or you can have him play in the middle of your field. There's so many things. And Fangio likes to disguise what he's doing. Sanders is the perfect guy to disguise what you want to do in the front 7. You can shift him. Buddy, you could have him in the edge and drop him back post-snap. Like, you could spy with him. You could do so much stuff with Drew Sanders. Like, I was very impressed with what Arkansas did with him this year by moving him more to the middle of the field. But I was also impressed with how much instinct he showed of only 1 year playing there. His read and react ability. Man, that guy's got a quick fire trigger. He sees it. Boom. He's downhill on you. Like, I saw a lot of high. I saw a lot of things he was really good at in year 1 where you would think he would need a little bit of a learning curve. Nope. And that tells me that with proper time and development, the guy could be elite in a lot of those areas. And then you got running backs. I don't think I've been telling y'all Jahmyr Gibbs ain't dropping, and now the word coming out right now is that some teams in the NFL have Jahmyr Gibbs higher than Bijan Robinson on their board. Jahmyr ain't getting out of the first round. I've been telling all of y'all this. Listen, I like it. Someone said Israel Abakonda. I like Israel, but at 51, there's going to be other impacting talent there. I would try and get Israel at 84 if I was going there. So we'll see, man. I you know what? Come, before day 3, I'll give you my top 3. You can guarantee I'll give you my top 3 available. There's just so much that could be potentially available there at 51. So I've given you at least like 8 or 9 names. Reason: would you trade Wilkins for Bijan Robinson? No. I think you can get Dalvin Cook. Through this scenario, I wouldn't trade Wilkins. I wouldn't trade Wilkins for a running back. 51 needs to net as a starter, and someone will be there. Yeah, I agree too. Like, if Laporta's there, man, I don't know how you don't run up to that podium. I really don't. And I'm getting sick and tired. Shout out to Randy saying, just showing the love. Keep up the great work. I'm getting sick and tired of these people saying he can't block, man. He's got the prerequisite strength. He's just technique, and he shows the willingness. Laporta's just technique. Look at the guys we got in the building. Are you really worried about a guy who shows you he's got the prerequisite functional strength and he's got the willingness to block? And because they use him in line. Are you really worried that all he needs to be is get coached up on technique when you got Embry, Frank Smith, and McDaniel sitting there? Come on. Let's use our heads a little bit. Patrick says, Reason, what do you think of Weiler? Are you talking about, Patrick, you're talking about Weiler? Are you talking about the tight end out of Cincinnati? David was cool with Laporta, Center Titman, DeJuan Jones, or Emmanuel Forbes at 51. I think there's a better chance that Keely Ringo's on the board at 51 than Emmanuel Forbes. Oh, you're talking about Whippler, the center? Yeah, I like him. He's good. I like Whippler, I like Titman, and I like John Michael Schmitz. I do not see them taking a center, though. Now, I know they've been telling UDFA guards, hey, sit tight. After the draft, if we come and sign you, we're going to give a chance to compete, and shows you how much they really believe in Liam Eichenberg. But I don't like. Is Torrance Osiris going to be gone? You know what I mean? Like, they could take Steve Avila. Like, listen, I would love Steve Osiris Torrance. Is he going to be gone? Because I think Steve Avila is better because he can move inside, outside. I mean, you could go get a guy like Nick Saldivili, maybe try and trade back up into the 4th. Go get him. He could play right tackle, left tackle, guard. Osiris Torrance is probably my second. Steve Avila, I'm a big fan. I mean, hell, that's 6 or 7. Let me ask you this. For y'all who have actually watched the film, I would be down for round 6, round 7. Go take a chance on Voorhees. Sure, the guy's got to recover, but that guy was arguably the best guard in this draft before that ACL injury. Shout out. $50 bomb from Juan Cruz Moran. He says, would you trade Wilkins to get into the 1st, and who would that pick be? Listen, I've told you. I would trade Wilkins if it meant I had a shot at getting Jalen Carter or Darnell Wright. If I could get Darnell Wright or Jalen Carter for Christian Wilkins, yeah, I'd do it. If you could get me Darnell Wright or you could get me Jalen Carter, yeah, I'd do it. I know people aren't going to like hearing the Jalen Carter thing. But I'm sorry. He's just the guy's the best interior defensive lineman I've seen since Ndamukong Suh. And I think John Florino has a good point. The problem going to be to get a team to give up a high first-round pick is they got to pay the man. Now, hey, we give up first-round picks and pay players. Not every other team does, though. Right? That's one of Bill Parcells' golden rules. Never pay for a player twice. Never trade for a player and then pay him right after. I don't know. But for me, listen, if I could get Jalen Carter or Darnell Wright, yeah, it's over. I'm sorry. Darnell Wright, man, you know what that guy does to everyone knows how I feel about him. I've been talking about that guy for over a year, so I don't got to continue. Jalen Carter, my lord. My lord. You know what that guy will be in year 4 of his pro career if he keeps, on that straight path. Jalen Carter going to be special. Jalen Carter, listen, we all like Wilkins. We all like Christian Wilkins. But how many times have you ever said to yourself, man, that kid's special? And I ain't talking about the person, all right? I'm talking about the player. We all think he's a special person. He's a great person. The player. How many times have you said to yourself, wow, that Wilkins, he's a special player. Jalen Carter, that's that, all right? Arguably top 5 player in this draft. Seriously, I'm not even joking. So Jalen Carter and Darnell Wright would be the only players in the first round I would move off of Wilkins for. So I hope that answers your question. And don't come for me, Dolphin fans, because I know how some of y'all really get super attached to players like that. I saw it with Jerome Baker, so I can only imagine with a better player and and as charismatic as a player as Wilkins, I can only imagine the people that are about to come for me. 275 of you in the chat right now. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you are new. Let's get into some of the stuff here before we get into that big board, because we do have a few things to go over here. Now, let's start off with Barry Jackson's latest. And I appreciate all the donations. Again, guys, please smash the like button. Subscribe if you are new. These type of videos where I do these big boards and use the All-22. XOS Digital is known for demonetizing me, so I appreciate the support, guys. Hammer says he's coming for me. Okay, bro. Come on. I want all the Wilkins smoke. All right. So, what network analysts, others are saying about the Dolphins and where they belong in the AFC. And, guys, you're going to see a pattern here. All right. So, what analysts are saying about the Dolphins, who appear to have their most talented team in 2 decades. Louis Riddick, I know this is a big if, but if Tua can make it through 15, 16, 17 games where he's available in the postseason, Miami is winning the AFC East, which is exactly what I've told all of y'all. Book it. This defense will make huge strides in 2023. Jalen Ramsey is going to be up there for defensive MVP. Him and Tavon Holland will be the best defensive backfield in the NFL. Miami is winning the East. That's it. We saw in the playoffs and we saw down the stretch, they were very thin in the secondary as far as playmakers were concerned, and they needed some help, needed some more movable chess pieces to go along with the other real fine weapons they have on that side of the ball, and they got that with Ramsey. What do you think this defense is going to look like, especially if Vic Fangio can get the defensive front and the pass rush to really ramp it up? Bradley Chubb has to ramp it up. Jalen Phillips has to take another step. When you put this all together, if Tua can stay healthy, this team is ready to rock and roll and make some noise in the AFC, no question about it. But Riddick added this. The way in which they manage football games needs to be really watched this year. With Mike McDaniel, I'm not saying he has to run the ball 30 times. When he strategically and smartly runs the ball, this offense is virtually unstoppable. Last season, the Dolphins rushed 390 times. Only Tampa Bay, 386, ran fewer times. McDaniel said recently that he should have run the ball more. By comparison, the Super Bowl teams, the Chiefs and the Eagles, ran 417 and 544 times, respectively. The Dolphins' 4.3 yards per carry average was just below average, at 18th. But top backs, Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson, average 4.9 and 4.7 yards respectively. So Dolphins probably can run the ball, but they need to do it more. Dan Orlovsky said there are two elite AFC teams. And we've talked about that. These are the two teams we've named on this channel are the best in the AFC. The Kansas City Chiefs and Cincinnati Bengals. We know those two good teams are going to be great again. And then there are teams that are really, really good. Miami is in that group. It's Miami, it's Buffalo, it's the Chargers, probably Jacksonville, Baltimore if they keep Lamar. Now we're looking at a Dolphin roster that has weapons on the outside, a quarterback that played tremendous football when he was healthy. And they've got a defense that can help. This is a team that can be AFC title contenders. They've got to run the football a little bit better, but this is a really good roster. Tua will have the best season of the AFC East quarterbacks. I get surprised with how much people think Tua stinks. What Tua did last year was really high level. I'm banking on Tua staying healthy. At some point, you can catch a health break, and every fall doesn't result in a concussion. Marcus Spears said, if Tua stays healthy, this team can absolutely get to the AFC Championship with that defense and that offense. Chris Grier has done a good job. Ramsey is going to have a resurgence. Former Eagles executive Joe Banner, now with the 33rd team. Miami got a very good player, but they are acting like they're all in as Super Bowl contenders this year, and he thinks they may be a year early on that. Look at this. Cowboys cornerback Trevon Diggs said simply, the Dolphins are loaded. I mean, that's one of the best ball hawking corners in football right now, whose brother also plays for an AFC East team. And look at what that man's saying. That man's saying they are loaded. Bucky Brooks on offense. They have two guys that can be number one receivers in Waddle and Hill. On defense, you have Xavier Howard joining up with Jalen Ramsey and two number one corners. And when I think about the fit in the scheme, Brandon Staley was the defensive coordinator for the Rams when Jalen got there. He put Jalen in the star position, let him play inside and nickel some. Each week it changed. Brooks said Fangio will do the same with Ramsey Miami. Tannenbaum. They are clearly in go-for-it mode. The key is Tua. He has played only 71% of the snaps since he's been starter. Most starters are well over 90%. The offensive line is going to have to be more consistent. Mike McDaniel has done a great job with Tua in terms of getting the ball out of his hands. The bigger question about Tua's durability, and that could ultimately be what separates Miami from the powers in the AFC. Peter King. The Dolphins are all in for 2023. Miami will contend if Tua Tagovailoa can stay on the field most or all of the regular season. That's a certainty. But this Ramsey deal is an admission the Dolphins won't be a title team without major improvement on defense. The new coordinator, Vic Fangio, is one piece of that rebuild. Ramsey is an important second piece. The Dolphins in 2022 allowed 113 more points, one touchdown per game, than the Bills, and had interceptions in just 5 of 17 games. All right, a lot to go over here, so let's cover it. First of all, everyone kept pointing at Tua last year, and I kept telling y'all, no, we have a top 10 scoring offense under Tua. That was a fact. The issue was our defense was allowing more points per game than our top 10 scoring offense. That was the issue. Okay? Listen, if your offense is scoring at a top 10 clip, you can't say jack bo diddly. But when you look at we went every Friday. That's why I do it every Friday. The receipts are there, right? Just like people try to tell you to torch the bad Chicago Bears team. Well, go back and watch the preview show. Heading into that team, the Bears had the number 5 pass defense in the NFL. Just like we were trying to tell you, the Lions were good. Tua torched them. All of a sudden, the Lion, Tua beat a crappy Lions team, but oh my God, Aaron Rodgers lost to a Lions team on the come-up. See, narratives don't, that's why you got to listen to people who know ball when they talk here a little bit, right? So, just going over this, though. All right? When you start, let's start here. First of all, when a guy like Jalen Ramsey, okay, again, who's got a brother in the same division sitting there saying, yeah, they're loaded. This is why we keep bringing up the offensive line on this channel, too. I just do not see Chris Grier hitching his wagon to Jackson and Liam Eichenberg, or both of them. He might hitch his wagon to one of them winning a battle at left guard, but I don't see both of them. This roster is too good. I don't see him risking everything he's built for those two guys. I just don't. That's why I really believe tackle is in play if a DeJuan Jones or Matthew Bergeron is there at 51. All right? Now, the continuing theme we saw here is what? We are an AFC East powerhouse and an AFC title contender as long as Tua stays healthy. And I think whether you believe in Tua or you don't believe in Tua, you can't argue that fact. All right? We are that good, but he needs to stay healthy. All right? Strengthening his neck so his head doesn't whip back. Doing the jiu-jitsu training. Learning how to fall and distribute his body. I mean, we went over here. People are still trying to make fun of him when I literally have showed a clip here of an offensive lineman. I believe his name is Scott Peters, who's an assistant offensive line coach. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt, and he taught it to the Washington college football program. And guess what? They called him after their last season and said this was the first year we had no concussions or stingers along the offensive line because of the jiu-jitsu training you implemented to teaching these kids. So people want to joke about it all they want, but it works, and it's proven. Tua needs to stay healthy, though. Listen, you can no longer argue the ability. If you look at the Bills game, and if you look at the Green Bay game before the concussion, he was back into that form that was the MVP discussion form, and then the concussion happened and everything fell off the rails. But he was getting back to that form. He was right there. So he's got to stay healthy. He's got to stay healthy. Now, if you go get a guy like Dalvin Cook, I still think you can win a playoff game with Mike White. But I'm not trying to go that route. And let's be honest, it probably ain't going to be Mike White if Tua goes down. It's going to be someone else, and we all know that guy's name. So my whole thing here is the continued pattern. Even Tannenbaum gave us our flowers but said Tua needs to stay healthy. And I agree with all of them. They did not say anything wrong. Now, I don't know if we're a year too early. Like I said, this is why I think if we fix this offensive line, we are disgusting. We're already borderline disgusting roster-wise. So we'll see how it all plays out. But, I mean, you got players to notice it. Why do you think players want to come here? Why do you think players want to come here? You know what I mean? Like Dalvin Cook. Imagine we get Dalvin Cook added to this. Like, my Lord. My Lord, people. And I think we're going to have a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense this year. I think we're going to have both. I think it's going to be something to watch. We are going to be a well-balanced and a well-oiled team. Look out. So, I wanted to show this. Speaking of Tua, guys, another chart came out on EPA per attempt on passes, 5 yards or more downfield. I wanted to go over this quick and look at this. This looks like the EPA chart. You remember the overall efficiency chart? This is what it looked like all season until we hit that 4-game little skid there before Tua got the concussion, against Green Bay. Look at this right now. And so let's explain this a little bit to all you guys because, I mean, this is very, very impressive right now, guys. So Tua Tagovailoa threw 64 of his passes, 5+ yards downfield last season. He was the number one highest rate in the NFL out of 29 QBs with over 300 attempts. When he threw 5 yards or more downfield, number one in EPA per attempt, number one in success rate, number one in first down rate, number one in yards per attempt, number one in passer rating out of 29 QBs with over 300 attempts. What do I keep telling y'all? Keep your big arms. Keep your rocket launchers. I need efficiency. Elite efficiency is going to win Super Bowls. If this guy stays healthy and he keeps on this trajectory of his efficiency of what we saw last year, and he's going to grow off of it naturally now with Fangio in the building, unlocking the only defense that this guy really struggles against. We might see super uber efficient Tua, and that's what I need to win a Super Bowl. How do you think Tampa Bay beat the Chiefs? Tom Brady, super efficient in that game. Go watch. No big bombs, efficient throws, Gronk, etc. Look at Mahomes' pass, efficient. Not out here just bombing them. Look at Joe Burrow. Had a couple 500-yard games, 5 touchdown games. 400 5-touchdown yard games before the playoffs, right? Then come the playoffs, what was he? Super efficient and let the defense played off the defense. That's exactly what Tua can do. That's exactly what he needs. That's what Tom Brady did for over 20 years with the Patriots. So, and we're going to see a defense that can finally get off the field on third down. We're not going to give up bad plays. Because, listen, defense is why we didn't beat Buffalo at the end of the year there. They didn't make enough plays to get off the field. Third down, giving up third and longs. And then letting the drive after they convert the third and long. Then giving up the touchdown on the same drive. Like, that stuff's not going to bend. That's not going to happen under Fangio now. And joint to joint's right. Brady also had consistently elite offensive lines. You know why? Because that's how the committee works so well too. All those running back committees they had can thank their like Rex Burkhead was effective because of how good that offensive line was. Rex Burkhead. Okay? That offensive line was so good, it would make committees of guys just thrown together collectively look really good. Look at Sony Michel behind that line that one year. So, we'll see. 325 of you in the room. Please smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. Appreciate all of y'all coming through here. Let's get into, with all that said, I think it's time. Let's get into my big board of the top 15 defensive tackles and defensive ends of the 2023 draft class. Man, so fun doing this. So fun watching some of these absolute wreckers go to work. So let's get into it here, and let's hop into that. All right, guys? So starting off, let's get into it right here. All right? So starting off at 15, Moro Jomo out of Texas. He's stout against the run. He's a great athlete with good length to his frame. He can penetrate, which can make him effective as a pass rusher at times, but needs to improve his overall pass rush moveset. And if he does, I do think he could be a big-time sleeper in this draft. Number 14 for me, Carl Brooks. Can play both inside and out across the front as a 3-tech or a 5-tech. He's explosive off the edge with a good set of pass rush moves, a quick first step, and good short area bursts. He's quietly efficient when tasked against the run, too. Do not sleep on Carl Brooks against the run. Didn't test very well, but moves way better on film, so I'm not overly concerned, but he does lack ideal length to his frame. At number 13, Byron Young out of Alabama. 6'3", 295 pounds, with a wingspan of over 81 inches and paws for hands that are 11 inches and as violent as they come. Good against the run, strong at the point of attack, and can play through traffic, shed and stack, etc. He's an okay athlete, doesn't offer a ton of explosiveness in short areas, doesn't have really overly quick or agile feet. Number 12 for me, I got Colby Wooden out of Auburn. He offers some versatility as a 5-tech or a 3-tech across Fangio's base front. Can set the edge against the run. He's also become better as a pass rusher with each year in college, also displaying a high ceiling with the right coaching, I think. Still a little raw as a pass rusher. as he still needs to continue to develop his pass rush moveset and also play at a more consistent pad level. He can lose leverage battles due to this tendency of playing a little too high. 11 for me is Cameron Young out of Mississippi State. I think he's one of the best run stoppers in this class. He can play 0 tech, 1 tech, has the versatility to play 3 tech, maybe even the 5 tech if you want to give it a shot. He's a versatile player. Ideal length to his frame, 34.5-inch arms, strong hands, shows the ability to shed blockers and has good functional strength, can hold the line of scrimmage with it. Had a torn ACL in college that cost him 8 games between 2019 and 2020. And he can be susceptible to poor pad level out of his right out of his stance off the snap. So he's going to have to clean that up at the next level. All right. So getting into 6 to 10 for me. At 10, I've got Jacqueline Roy out of LSU. Big enough to play consistently on the inside at 6'3", 305, and is an absolute monster in terms of pure brute strength, who can disrupt and push the pocket back with ease. Good burst and explosiveness out of his stance too. Shows an array of good moves to beat blockers, utilizing a swim move, can swipe hands away pretty easily, etc. Shows good contact balance and wins with leverage due to playing at a good pad level consistently. And he has a really low center of gravity when he plays, when he drops his hips. For a guy with all that strength, this guy can really struggle. Roy can really struggle to take on double teams. And he's just an okay athlete. He's not going to blow you away. And number 9 for me, I got Zach Pickens out of South Carolina. 6'3", 291. Crazy wingspan of 81 and 5/8 inches. Pickens has good size and length to his body, with his power and pop to his game that displaces blockers with force. Pickens is a good athlete with a strong, quick first step, good short area burst and quickness, while displaying good agility as he moves laterally quite well. Quite stout against the run, as this is one of his biggest strengths to his game right now, as he frequently showed on tape, disengaging blockers, shedding them with violent active hands, and filling gaps with no issue. Has versatility to his game, as he can line up as a 0 tech or a 3 tech, while showing he's capable of handling either role he's asked to take on. Needs to play at a better pad level. Needs to be way more consistent with it. It hurts him in the leverage game and at the point of attack. I would also say he needs to improve his pass rush moveset, because he's not really uber effective pushing the pocket back as a disruptor. Number 8 for me, Trevon Dexter Sr. out of Florida. Immediately the size to his ideal frame at 6'5", 310, and his impressive 80 and 7/8 inch wingspan pop out at you in his testing and on film, as he does. This guy's got freakish athleticism. Absolute stud against the run. Just has an innate ability to sniff out the ball carrier who fills and makes stops in holes regularly as a great gap penetrator. Has no issue shedding or disengaging blockers. Powerful player with violent hands that can disrupt a blocker's whole existence, who doesn't get out leveraged often, as he maintains good pad level regularly too, which is essential for his height, right? 6'5". Isn't that explosive out of his stance, sometimes looking as if he's late to react to the snap. Plus, I'd like to see him clean up missed tackles, as he's had 15 over the last 2 years. So just a couple things he's got to clean up for his game, but a pretty high ceiling for Dexter. At number 7, Kalijah Cansey. Now, I feel like I'm lower on him than some people, but, it is what it is. Knows how to convert his speed to power and vice versa as a pass rusher, while showing the versatility at Pitt to play inside out along the front. Leaps off the snap, exploding out of his stance with a quick first step, and times the snap really well regularly. Has good, active, violent hands, shows an impressive club move, cross chop, and can swim past defenders. Not only can he shoot gaps effectively, but he can also fill gaps versus the run. Has a motor that never stops running, as seen by his pursuit ability. Plays with good contact balance and shows really good lateral agility too. He'd be my top 5 easily if he wasn't one of the most undersized 3 techs in recent memory at 6'1", 281 pounds. He's got 30 and 5/8 inch arms, and a 72 and 3/4 inch wingspan. He would be an anomaly if he hits. That's like in terms of size, he would be an anomaly if he hits. All right, that's the type of deal this is. He should probably be ranked even lower than me because he would be an anomaly. But his film is just so good that I had trouble putting him lower than that. So I don't know. Good, but I don't know, man. That length is like he would literally next to. Don't think you guys real. Go look at how many interior defensive linemen at 6'1", 281 with 30 and 5/8 inch arms and a 72 and 3/4 inch wingspan have hit. Go look. Go do the research for yourself. Don't just trust my word. All right, number 6 for me, Adetomiwa Adebawore, or people could just call him Addy for his first name. Unbelievable athlete, as Addy is the only 280-plus pound player to run a sub-4.5 40-yard dash in the history of the NFL Combine. And he also had the 46th ranked RAS amongst 1,585 defensive tackles dated back to 1987. Offers inside-outside flexibility as a 3-tech or a 5-tech at the next level. Surprisingly stout against the run, as I was expecting a guy who was going to be a stud pass rusher who needs some refinement against the run, but saw the opposite on tape when I watched him. Plays at a consistently good pad level, so you'll rarely see him out leveraged and washed out because he's playing too high with them or standing too tall. Great sudden twitch, explosive first step, good short area burst, and shows good lateral agility with his lateral movement. The only thing I would say is he doesn't have a really strong array of counter moves to his pass rush skill set. And another guy who needs to clean up a little bit, finishing off his tackles. But Addy's a beast. He's a monster. Really impressed with Adetomiwa Adebawore. He's a good player, man. Addy, you got crazy high ceiling to this kid. Crazy high ceiling. All right, let's get into it. Top 5. Number 5. Siaki Ika from Baylor. I feel like I'm higher on Ika than most, but I became a big fan of him watching his film. A little over 6'2" and a half at 335 pounds. Ika is a behemoth of a man who still displays good agility through his lateral movement for his size and has quick feet with good short area bursts and explosiveness to his game. Has very strong hands that pack some power and can swipe a blocker's hands with ease. Plus, he's strong at the point of attack with a stable, firm anchor and good contact balance. He's a pure disruptor. Can push back the pocket by having a blocker on his heels in the blink of an eye with his bull rush. Can take on and swallow up double teams, making a second-level defender's job easier. Just an absolute task to move at times for blockers in the run game due to his brute force and overall God-gifted power. Sheds and disengages well consistently and actually can lay a little lumber when he gets the chance to lower the shoulder on a ball carrier. I really think he just needs to improve his pass rush moveset, refine his overall technique with some good coaching, and I really think Ika could be something at the next level, man. He is a big boy. He is a gap filler, and I'm just a big fan of him. And those Samoan players, they just play with a different level of intensity and ferocity. Big fan of Siaki Ika. At number 4, big fan of this kid. Might be my man crush. I haven't decided yet, but he's up there. Keanu Benton out of Wisconsin. Great combination of size and length to his frame at just over 6'3" and a half, 310 pounds, and an 81.5-inch wingspan. One of the most powerful, staggering punches in the class. If it lands on a blocker, it can have them on their heels instantaneously, as his hands are like cinder blocks. He's a pure pocket disruptor and can make the situations chaotic in the pocket for a quarterback quite quickly. Another guy who projects to play 0-tech or 3-tech at the next level. Benton has also gotten better as a pass rusher each year to start to round himself out as a more complete interior defender. Shows the ability to consistently stack and shed, play through the mud, and disengage off blockers in the run game as he defines the term run stuffer. Double teams are no issue for him due to his overpowering upper half of his body. Never quite a quit type of motor and a surprisingly good recoverability to his game. Needs to develop his pass rush moveset and counter moves. If his initial attempt doesn't work, the play can die out for him. And I do want to see him play at a lower pad level more consistently. But man, the ceiling on this kid, unbelievable. He is a power rusher. I'm a big Keanu Benton fan. This guy, man, he's completing. He's rounding himself out. Just, you refine his counter moves, and you got something here. Number 3 for me is Mazi Smith. At 6'3", 323, Mazi Smith is the absolute powerhouse and game wrecker you'd expect him to be. Stacks and shed blockers with ease. Seems like he can just flick his wrist or snap his fingers and he's swiped away a blocker's hands trying to grasp at his pads. Can play from the 0 tech to the 3 tech. Basically can play across both the A gap and the B gap for a defense at the next level. Absolutely dominant if lined up in a one-on-one matchup, and almost always requires 2 blockers to take on, which makes him a linebacker's best friend. Has good eyes that track the ball carrier well with good lateral quickness and surprising agility that makes him a guy who can make stops in the run game. Wish he would have tested because he's so explosive and deceptively athletic on film. I would have loved to see the numbers come out. Has good contact balance, plays at a good low center of gravity with a strong lower half and a movable anchor. See, another guy that, this is a little bit of a theme of some of these guys up here, needs to be refined at the next level as a pass rusher with a more diverse moveset. But look out, like Benton, a ridiculously high ceiling. If this guy becomes a better pass rusher, ridiculous high ceiling. Like the ceiling on some of these kids in this class in the top 5 is up there. Mazi Smith is very good. He is a stud. Number 2 for me, Brian Breesy from Clemson, 6'5", 300 pounds, and he's a shredded human being as he looks to have not an ounce of baby fat on his frame. He's strong as an ox, so shedding, stacking is light work for him as he has high-level athleticism. Might be one of the most explosive players in this defensive line class, if not the most explosive player. He's got the, straight line speed. He's got great short area burst. Coming out of his stance off the snap with his first step, he's so explosive. Because of this, he can disrupt and push back a pocket sometimes instantly by catching slow to react linemen off guard with more pop than a can of soda in his hands if he lands his punch. Has an advanced pass rush skill set, has the power to bull rush, club, chop, the athleticism to be successful with spin moves and bend around the edge, the length to possess with an effective swim move, while also has a good pass rush plan in place for a counter if that initial move doesn't work, has good flexibility and bend to his frame, which allows him to be successful from the outside shoulder over tackles and can line up as a nose, 3 tech, all the way to an edge rusher, gives every ounce of blood, sweat, and tears on every down and plays no regret football. Not only does he have super active and violent hands, but his technique and placement with them are very high level too. Can play over aggressive, causing missed tackles here and there. Plus, I would also say he needs to stay more consistently low as he can play high and stand up at time. And, this can allow blockers to get to his chest plate and stall him out. But look at him against Darnell Wright here. He gets pushed, but look at the violent tackle he still makes off Darnell Wright. There was a good battle between him and Darnell Wright. Number 1, there ain't no question. It's Jalen Carter. This man is a stud, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute stud of a player with such impressive film. Jalen Carter is a top player in this draft overall, let alone a top player in this defensive line class. At times, is just downright unblockable. 6'3", 314 pounds, beast of a man with 33.5-inch arms, 10.25-inch hands, and an 81-inch wingspan to match. His functional strength is unreal. You watch him and continuously say to yourself, he's the best DT prospect since Ndamukong Suh. Can play every position across the defensive front, 0, 1, 3, 5 tech. Doesn't matter. He's a game changer wherever you put him. And someone who it feels like will keep offensive coordinators and linemen up preparing for at night. For if everything goes smoothly development-wise at the next level, this man's a stud. Tape shows a really good athlete with elite lateral ability to his game, the most explosive first step and short area burst of his class, and his get-off at the snap is elite in itself. Can shed blockers with his raw, unreal power or slip them with his agility. Either way, Jalen Carter has the tools to make a play on every down and beat any type of blocker he's taking on. Consistent, dominant force against the run. He fills gaps naturally or clears lanes for second-level defenders by eating up double teams like they're the feature at a buffet. The production may not have been elite, but he's a high-level interior pass rusher and disruptor. Feels like the sacks will come with better coaching and refined technique, but the pressures hurries will stack up from day one. You don't know how many times I saw this guy get into the backfield and chasing. It's ridiculous. Aside from a few games missed due to an MCL sprain, he's a fairly clean prospect with an extremely high ceiling and high floor as a player. The glaring issue is clearly he has major character concerns. No one's going to argue that. But you look at this film, this is a guy who, he takes a step and he's in the backfield. It's unbelievable. It's just he's so good. He is such a stud. And again, he is the best interior guy I've seen since Ndamukong Suh coming out. Jalen Carter is special. Very, 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 very special player. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than that. So, listen, I would 110% if they could, listen, if there was a way, I would find it. But he's going top 10. I think he's going to go 5 to Seattle. Makes so much sense. Sucks, but hey, that's what it is. And there is my defensive line big board. I appreciate y'all. Like I mentioned, Patreons, you're going to have 3 takes episode coming tonight. Also, Patrons and channel members, I am going to be dropping my quarterback, wide receiver, and edge big boards for you guys. A little extra content for you coming up. I will be live tomorrow with Ryan Roberts. We will be diving deep into 51 and 50 and 84 and all the prospects that could be available. You're not going to want to miss that. He is the owner of Rise and Draft Scouting. He's also the director of recruiting for IrishBreakdown.com, and he's also a scout for the collegiate college all-star game. So you're going to want to check into that. And then Tuesday, 3-round hand-done mock by me and Neil. And then Wednesday, you know what time it is, the finish line with me, Richmond, and ball game. And then Thursday, night 1 of the draft. And then Friday, night 2 of the draft. And we'll have a panel live for all the picks. I appreciate all of y'all for coming through on this Sunday. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I will see all of y'all in the next one. Please smash the like button on the way out. Do me the favor. It helps with these videos that are going to get demonetized potentially. And also, if you can, donate. Thank you very much for your support. I appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, you don't know what time it is. Fins up all day, every day.